Frontier by Maggot Moshpit, Chapter 9. The sun crawled through the room, touching a table, a chair, and eventually a bed. Soon it reached the bed's sole occupant, snaking onto his face. This did not wake him, as he was already awake. Feldoh let the sun dance across his face, the heat evaporating some of the moisture in his fur. His stomach grumbled, causing him to sigh. Feldoh was no stranger to sleepless nights, but for the past month, his nights were actually spent sleeping. Absence did not make the heart grow fonder, in this case. He sat on the edge of the bed for a spell before the hunger drove him towards the dining hall. The hall was not full yet. It was still early morning, but the cooks were up and about, yelling at each other and setting out free breakfasts for all the guests. Feldoh stacked a couple of eggs onto his plate and mumbled thanks to the nearest kitchen staff member. On his way back to his room, a voice called to him from his left.
"Sir!"
A hotel worker, Feldoh guessed he was a receptionist, ran up to him.
"Is your name Feldoh, sir?"
"Yeah, that's me."
I was told to give this to you from someone called Terry.
The man held up a note.
She regrets she could not deliver it in person. Her fleet shipped out a few hours ago.
"Thanks."
The man nodded and scampered off. Feldoh briefly considered tearing up the note, but he knew he had to read it. He put it into his pocket and returned to his room, number 306. Once there, he poured himself some wine and drank it as he read the short note.
I like you, Feldoh. You're a nice guy. Maybe if you find yourself without work, find me. I could use a good engineer. Don't let the past block your path to the future. Terry Cassock.
On the back was the name of Terry's ship, the Skylynx. Feldoh read the note 3 times. He eventually put it onto his table and went for another drink of wine. Finding his glass empty, he grabbed the bottle. Left strolled briskly down the dusty path, the morning so still the landscape appeared almost picturesque. As he crested a shallow hill, he found he was looking into a valley overgrown with long grass and flowers. The valley's center had a large pen for animals, where the herd of Laxar grazed lazily. Before descending into the valley, Left took a quick photo to show Lena later. As he approached the pen, he heard laughter and noticed Rackham and Dee sitting on the fence.
"Hey, guys!"
Rackham turned around, almost overbalancing.
"Left, up and about early, I see."
Left jumped up onto the fence and sat with the 2 huskies.
"Yep, just getting some photos and taking in the scenery."
Dee glanced around.
"Is Lena with you?"
Left took some pictures of the Laxar as he answered.
"Nah, she wanted to go swimming with Taliko. Or rather, Taliko wanted to swim with her."
Dee smiled warmly.
"She's grown up so fast. I remember when she was just a little kid like it was yesterday."
"Yep, we raised the last best we could. I just wish I could get my paws around Ray's scrawny neck."
Now, no need to get worked up about it this early."
Wait, who's Ray?"
Leff asked. Rackham's face took on an embarrassed look.
"Oh, Lena didn't tell you about her father?"
Then it dawned on Leff.
"Oh, Ray's her father. Yeah, she told me about him. Did you know him?"
Rackham huffed.
"Know him? He rolled into town one day acting this big shot bounty hunter cowboy bullshit."
Dee flicked Rackham on the nose.
"That's another 10 credits."
"Oh, hun."
Rackham dug out a few credits and handed them over.
"Anyway, he comes into town, knocks up my good friend Lena. Obviously not the Lena you know. We named Lena after her mother, and he leaves without a trace."
This information gave Leff a new perspective on his friend Rackham. Rackham didn't talk much about his past, and it seemed like the only reason Rackham was telling him this was because Lena was Leff's mate, perhaps as a warning. He nodded.
"I'll keep that in mind."
As he spoke, Leff felt a cold chill pass through his fur, causing him to shiver.
"I thought there wasn't any wind on this planet. Brr."
Rackham glanced at him.
"What are you going on about? There ain't no wind out here."
Leff's head began to hurt, and a creeping dread once again occupied the corners of his mind. The wind picked up, and Leff hugged himself harder, shivering.
"What? You can't feel that? It's colder than the ice plains on Atria."
Dee licked her paw and held it up.
"I'm sorry, Lef. We don't feel anything."
The wind blew Lef off the fence, and the dread exploded in his mind, blackness enveloping the world. The darkness held nothing save a vague impression of something, an idea, information. Then he understood. The world filled out, color returned, and Lef looked up into the concerned faces of Rackham and Dee.
Blazes! Lef, what happened?
Lef sat up and looked towards the Laxar pen.
They're sick.
Rackham glanced at the Laxar and back at Lef.
What? What are you talking about? I think you're the one who's sick. Let's get you to a doctor. Dee, call someone.
Lef stood and looked at the Laxar closer.
They're sick. Dee, call the vet on this planet. Someone who has experience with animals.
Dee had an S-com out, but was unsure of what to do.
Lef, what are you talking about? I'm sorry, but you might have just had a seizure. You need a doctor.
Lef, seeing Dee was not about to call anyone, grabbed the S-com from her and searched the local directory until he found the Center of Exobiology. Close enough. Rackham approached Lef with the intent of taking the S-com, but Lef was too quick, darting away.
Lef, what's gotten into you? Ah, heck, I don't have my S-com. Lef!
Lef put the S-com up to his ear and didn't even wait for a greeting before talking.
You need to get the Frontier's Laxar herd into your lab ASAP. They have a disease that will render the entire stock useless as a source of food. No, don't ask me how I know. The stakes are too high. It's TZ8472 parasite. If we don't act now, we can never cure them, and the colony I'm trying to establish will have to return to Atria to get a new herd. Okay, thanks.
Lef walked back to where the two huskies stood, and handed the S-com back to Dee. Rackham placed both paws on his head in exasperation.
Lef, how could you possibly know the Laxar are sick? TZ8472 has no symptoms until the final stage.
Lef thought about this, as if the fact he knew about it was of little importance, and he was just then realizing the hole in the logic of the situation.
Well, I fell off the fence. Then I knew.
Dee was becoming more and more agitated. Spontaneous events and paradoxical situations made her uncomfortable.
Are you psychic?
Not to my knowledge. Call it a hunch.
A small ship flew overhead and set down gently on the crest of the hill. A small figure emerged and made its way towards the pen, a case in its hands.
All right, what did you do this time?
The human woman spoke, tossing the case onto the ground. She was short and tired-looking, her hair dyed green. Rackham puffed out his chest.
What's that supposed to mean?
The woman opened the case and took out a heavy-looking medical scanner.
Nothing. It's not my fault you Atrians can't take care of your livestock. Oh, God.
The scanner had finished its diagnostic in a short few seconds. The screen clearly showed parasites riddling the endocrine system of the nearest Laxar. The woman grabbed her S-com hastily.
This is Dr. Green. Transport Pen 15 to the lab immediately. And hurry!
Rackham looked at the scanner's screen.
Wait! Lef was right? It is TZ8472?
Dr. Green packed up the scanner.
Yes, and if we don't hurry, there's nothing we can do for the poor Laxar. When was their last exam?
Rackham looked at his feet.
Not since we left Atria. A little over a month ago.
Dr. Green shook a finger in Rackham's face.
You need to be more thorough, especially transporting livestock over long distances. I'm going to need a record of everywhere you've been. In all my years as an exobiologist, I've never seen such incompetence.
A large medical transport soon arrived, slowly flying to a spot a few feet away, causing a ruckus among the Laxar, who are not easily spooked. A team of people jumped out and began herding the Laxar onto the ship, using cattle prods. One of the men on the team approached Rackham.
I assume you're Rackham, the owner of this herd?
Rackham nodded.
Yep, that's me.
And you too?
I'm transporting him and his herd along with the rest of his colony.
And I'm his wife.
The man turned around.
Follow me.
Lena sat with Taliko on the steps leading to the hotel. She impatiently kicked a stone down the steps.
Where is he? He should have been back here half an hour ago.
Taliko sighed.
Do you miss him that much, or is it something else?
A large medical transport ship flew overhead in the direction Lef went. Lena covered her ears from the noise.
That's the second ship to go that way since he left. I'm worried. What if something happened?
Only one way to find out. When that ship comes back, we'll follow it.
Lena nodded.
I just hope Lef's okay.
You guys are so cute together.
But Lena wasn't listening. She was watching the horizon intently. Another half hour later, the medical transport returned, this time slowly heading in a different direction. Lena jumped up and dashed after it.
Come on, Toliko!
They ran down walkways and across streets. The transport set down near a building, luckily in view of the two foxes. They slowed to a stop outside the building, panting from the long run. Lena looked at the sign above the double doors.
Center of Exobiology and Medical Exobiology. That's the study of alien physiology, right?
Toliko shrugged.
I don't know.
Lena, having caught her breath, walked inside, swinging the doors wide open, Toliko in tow. The person at the front desk looked up at the two as they entered. He was Atrian, a fox with golden fur.
Hello, what can I do for you, ladies?
That ship that just landed, it wouldn't happen to have a Wolverine on board, would it?
The fox shrugged.
I wouldn't know. It took off to respond to a medical emergency at Pen 15.
Medical emergency?
Lena dashed past the desk and down a hallway.
Hey, you can't go back there!
The fox jumped from behind the desk and pursued her, Toliko following behind. He glanced back, noticing Toliko.
What did I just say? Wait back in the lobby!
Toliko laughed.
Hell nah, this is too much fun.
Lena turned a corner and darted through a door, slamming into a Loxar with full force.
Oof!
Her vision was a field of stars as she lay sprawled on the floor.
Lena, what are you doing here?
Her eyes shot open.
Lef, are you alright?
Lef raised an eyebrow.
I was just about to ask you the same question.
Lena scrambled up and punched Lef on the arm.
Don't ever do that again!
Ow! Do what?
The golden fox and Toliko came puffing into the hall.
There you are.
Lena didn't hear him.
Disappear without telling me! I thought you were hurt.
Lef was bewildered.
I'm sorry, but there was an emergency with the Laxar. They're sick.
Lena noticed the Loxar for the first time. The hallway was full of them, all being led towards a large holding pen. The golden fox stamped the floor.
I don't know what's going on, but you weren't allowed back here.
Rackham came down the hall and noticed the four. Taking in the situation at a glance, he smiled at the fox.
Don't worry, they're with me.
The fox looked at Rackham, ready to empty his spleen even further. However, he reconsidered this when he saw how massive Rackham was, and the fact that he was accompanied by Dr. Green.
Well then, I bid you good day.
He scuttled out of the room. Dr. Green sighed.
He's the most useless intern I've ever had. He's right, though. You shouldn't be back here.
Lef waved his paw dismissively.
This concerns them as much as it does us. Besides, that guy said we could come.
Dr. Green folded her arms.
I don't think this concerns you anymore. We can handle things from here. Your Laxar will be treated by the time your stay is over. Out!
She shooed them out the door and closed it behind them. Celia strolled back into the hotel lobby, feeling refreshed. Nothing like a long period of strenuous activity to get the blood pumping, plus some special herb tea brewed by mountain nomads. Her fur was matted and caked with dirt in some places, and one of her ears was bound with a bandage. She whistled as the elevator took her up to her room, letting the heavy climbing pack on her back fall to the floor. She dragged it and herself down the hall and back up to her room, number 305. After a lengthy shower, she threw on some clothes and flopped into her bed, falling asleep almost as soon as her head hit the pillow. As Solia's eyes shot open, the tinkle of glass could still be heard. She sat up and stretched, noticing it was late afternoon. She stood up and put her ear against the wall. She heard nothing. Perhaps it was just a dream. It wouldn't hurt to check up on her neighbor. She walked to the next door over and knocked.
Hello? I heard a sound.
Go away.
Was that Feldoh?
I'm coming in.
The door was unlocked, and Celia entered the room, the smell of alcohol hitting her nose hard.
Feldoh? What's going on?
Feldoh was slouched against the wall, a broken wine bottle spread across the floor.
I told you to go away.
Feldoh was very clearly drunk. Celia walked carefully over to a chair, turning it to face Feldoh. In all the time she knew him, however short that was, she had never known him to be anything less pleasant than slightly annoyed. She tried to make her voice sound less shocked.
So, something on your mind?
Feldoh picked up another bottle that sat beside him.
It's amazing. These humans can make a drink that tastes like piss water, but still gets a body drunk.
He drank deeply from the bottle before Celia snatched it away.
Hey, get your own.
Feldoh, there has to be a reason you're spending your time drunk in your room.
Reason?
Feldoh stumbled to his feet and leaned on the sliding door that led to his balcony.
She wants a reason. I'll give you a reason. I killed her. She's dead because of me. Because I didn't do anything.
Celia had no idea what Feldoh was talking about. Feldoh whirled around.
Have you ever lost someone?
Celia answered after a moment of silence.
Yes, I know how you feel, Feldoh, but...
Did you cause their death? I don't think so. My body yearns for her. Every day.
He opened the balcony door.
I wanted a balcony.
Celia grabbed him and pulled him back inside, closing the door. Feldoh tumbled onto the floor. He lay there for a long time, sobered a small amount. After a long time, Feldoh spoke.
I'm gonna start talking, and all I want you to do is listen.
Celia nodded.
Keep this between us. But before I came aboard your ship...
Leff stood outside the police station, waiting in the light of a street lamp. Soon a man walked out and walked up to him.
Hey, Leff.
This is becoming an occurrence that is too familiar. Any particular reason why you spent the day in the drunk tank?
Zack smiled nervously and scratched the back of his head.
Yeah, that's the thing. See, I don't remember.
Let's go.
Zack followed Leff back to the hotel.
You know, my wallet is missing too. Have you seen it anywhere?
It's karma.
I didn't take his wallet!
Yeah, whatever.
They parted ways in the hotel lobby and Leff headed up to his room. Lena was lounging on the sofa, reading a book. Leff kissed her on the forehead and sat in one of the chairs.
What you readin'?
Lena put down the book, saving her spot on the datapad.
A Brief History of Time by Stephen Hawking.
Never heard of it.
It was written by a human over 350 years ago. Some of the translations feel odd, but the ideas belong in a modern textbook.
You'll have to let me borrow it sometime.
Lena stared at the ceiling for a minute before speaking.
I still don't get how you knew the Lexar were sick.
I still find it hard to explain. I felt a weird feeling then I... knew.
Lena sat up.
Weird how? Good?
Leff shook his head.
No, it was very unpleasant. A dread. Panic.
Wait, you remember the first night we spent together?
Leff knew exactly what she was talking about.
That morning, yes. It was similar, except I didn't get any information.
But it did foreshadow Bowman's attack.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe I'm just gifted.
He stood and went to the bathroom to get some headache pills.
Maybe it has something to do with these headaches.
2 days later, the colonists all shuffled back aboard the Frontier, sad to be leaving the lovely planet, but well rested and recharged. Leff, Celia, and Lena all sat in the cockpit waiting for the signal that everyone was back on board. Rackham poked his head around the doorframe.
Everyone's here. I can say I'm sad to leave this place, but I hear Eden is just as beautiful.
Leff pressed the intercom.
We'll be taking off shortly. Fire it up, Zack.
He switched it off.
Well, let's get there then.
Zack and Feldoh, who were working in the engine room, engaged the atmospheric thrusters as Leff took them up. They headed back up to the cockpit, Zack nudging Feldoh and grinning.
Did you have a good time?
It was a time I won't soon forget.